Hi, welcome to the Ultimate Master Course for Technical Analysis. Now today's topic, we're going to be focusing on time frames, okay? Because I think there's some of you here that are not exactly sure whether you should look at a smaller time frame or should you look at a longer term time frame. Should you be looking at a daily chart or should you be looking at an hourly chart or even down to a 15-minute chart? What should you focus on in your trade setups? So the key thing is that you always start from the big picture, right? You always start from the big picture. Now, when I mean big picture, try looking at the monthly, weekly charts first. The monthly, weekly charts first give you a longer term trend, a longer term view, and then zone in to the shorter time frames. So try to go by this approach, looking at longer term charts, then going down to the shorter term charts, the shorter term time frames, and then you get a better sense of a trade setup. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's take a look at the SPX. Now the SPX, let's go down from the monthly chart first. Now the monthly chart, get as long as a timeline as you can, and then you see the overall trend. Okay, so let's say we're looking at the long-term timeline of SPX, and you see since the 1980s until now, it's in an uptrend, right? Yes, sure, there are bouts of period here that are having some form of a correction, but the overall trend on the SPX on the longer time frame is in an uptrend. Okay, now if you squeeze it down into the weekly chart, it's also showing an uptrend. So the bias for this trade setup is definitely already pointing you to go long on the SPX, right? So the key thing now is if you are clear on this trade on the SPX, then maybe zone in onto the smaller time frames. So let's zone in on the hourly setup, and you see how does the hourly trade pattern looks like, and then go in deeper to the 15-minute time frame, and then get a sense of the overall trend. So I would say on the shorter time frame, it does look like the price action is sort of like having a form of a correction right now, and even though the longer term trend on the SPX is pointing higher, right, the shorter term time frame tells us that this SPX is having a form of a correction, it's trading sideways right now. So maybe you might want to pick up a position when price is perhaps testing these lows here. Okay, so at least you are in line with the trend. You are going long on the SPX, but you are using the shorter term time frame to guide you what is perhaps a better entry level. Now you always want to catch things at a discount, right? So when SPX is trading at a discount closer towards a more realistic target. Now the more realistic target, why did we point out this low here? Is because price did trade at that zone before, but then it rebounded from here. It traded down to the 3209 level, and then it had a rebound higher, right? So it's likely that if this downward momentum continues on a shorter term trend, likely we should see it face some kind of support or buying pressure in this 3209, similar to what we had on the 25th of September. Okay, so basically that's about it. Shorter term time frames is used to check your trades, make sure that you are getting in at a better entry level. Now the longer term time frames is basically just to ensure that you get a good sense of the overall trend. Okay, zone in from the larger time frames first, and then go into the smaller time frames so that you choose your setups wiser. Okay, now this is just an example on the SPX. You can also look at other markets. Maybe you can look at the TLT, or you can even look at the cryptocurrency markets. Always start from the longer term trend to decide your overall view. Now, when it comes down to the overall longer trend, maybe instead of looking at over 30 over years, maybe you might just want to zone in on the past 5 to 10 years as the overall long-term trend, so that you don't get too caught up away with too long a period of time, right? So in a nutshell, that's the idea. Focus on the long term first, and then zone in on the shorter term time frame. Okay, I hope this session here has been helpful today. I'll see you in the next chapter. See you.